Good evening again, everyone. The time is 6 p.m. I would like to officially call our legislative session to order. Mr. Parker, could you please call the roll?
Yes. Ms. Daniels? Ms. Davis?
Present.
Ms. Green?
Present.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Ms. Rawls?
Present.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Present.
Ms. Bowers?
Present. Thank you. The invocation this evening will be led by Vice President Green.
Thank you, President Bowers. If we could all take a moment of silence to keep the family of Miss Tymisha Miller and her unborn child in your thoughts and prayers as they tragically lost their lives this Monday here in the city of Harrisburg. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Green. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Councilman Jones.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. For communications this evening, we are joined by Ms. Charlotte Katzenmoyer, CEO of Capital Region Water, who will share a presentation.
I believe this is on. Thank you. Good evening. Thank you, councilors, for the opportunity to address you and community members this evening. My name is Charlotte Katzenmoyer, and I am the CEO of Capital Region Water. I am here this evening to talk about a problem that we have in the city of Harrisburg. That problem is the raw sewage that we contribute to the Paxton Creek and the Susquehanna River when our combined sewer system is overwhelmed. A combined sewer system is one that is designed to allow both sewage from buildings and the plumbing systems and rainwater from rooftops, parking lots, and streets to enter the same sewer network that Capital Region Water maintains. The combined sewer system covers about 60% of the city. The other 40% of the city is served by a separate storm sewer system, meaning the rainwater is conveyed to Paxton Creek and Susquehanna River without being polluted by raw sewage. Now back to the problem with our combined sewer system. On a day with little to no precipitation, our underground pipes and pump stations can safely convey the combined sewage to our treatment plant on Cameron Street and safely treat all wastewater and stormwater before it is released to the Susquehanna River. So this concoction of rainwater and stormwater gets full treatment at the advanced wastewater plant. However, on wet or soggy days like we had last week, when too much stormwater from rain and/or snowmelt overwhelms our combined sewer, wastewater, and stormwater system, this polluted mixture overflows untreated into the Paxton Creek and Susquehanna River. But on a day like today, there was not enough rain at one time to overwhelm the system, and the combined sewage was completely treated at the plant with no overflow events. Today, I will discuss Capital Region Water's plan to fix this 100-year-old problem. The raw sewage releases or combined sewer overflows are not an operational choice. In fact, like 800 other communities around the country, it is a permitted activity. Our infrastructure is undersized and overwhelmed by the added stormwater that runs off of buildings and streets as the city has been built out over the decades since the sewer was first designed in the early 1900s. On average, Capital Region Water captures and treats 90% of all combined sewage and stormwater. The 10% that goes untreated is primarily due to the result of heavy rains, overwhelming Harrisburg's aging and undersized infrastructure. This is the problem Capital Region Water is committed to solving. Since Capital Region Water's inception in 2013, we have been investing in our infrastructure to reduce these combined sewer overflows and improve water quality, public health, and the fabric of our community. In fact, over $200 million has been invested We are approaching yet another milestone in our path to clean water. Capital Region Water is now updating its long-term control plan to manage stormwater in the city of Harrisburg, better known as the City Beautiful H2O program plan. The development of this plan is required under a federal consent decree or negotiated agreement that Capital Region Water has entered into with the U.S. Department of Justice, U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, and the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. Under this agreement, Capital Region Water has specific deliverables and timelines that must be met to remedy this decades-long issue. An updated long-term control plan is required by the end of this year. Most recently, Capital Region Water submitted its analysis of various approaches or alternatives that would control combined sewer overflows. This alternatives analysis report is a critical component of the larger City Beautiful H2O program plan. An associated financial report was also recently submitted. This report, known as a financial capability assessment, identifies the economic harm or risk that would result if Capital Region Water were required to implement our recommended plan over a 20-year period to meet the Clean Water Act compliance. It considers a variety of poverty indicators in the city of Harrisburg. Together, these two documents, the alternatives analysis and the financial capability assessment, provide the technical and economic foundation for an updated recommended plan. With that background in mind, I'd like to mention a few details of the recommended plan and share opportunities for public input. The recommended plan's objectives are to control combined sewer overflow discharges to the Susquehanna River and Paxton Creek, reduce backups onto streets and into basements, improve the health of local waterways, protect public health and safety, and comply with the Clean Water Act. Combined sewer overflows, known as CSOs, are a significant pollution problem for the Susquehanna River and Paxton Creek. During heavy rain events, CSOs discharge untreated sewage and stormwater into the waterways, leading to the contamination of the water and degradation for aquatic habitats. This pollution not only harms the health of wildlife, but also threatens the health of people who use the rivers for drinking, swimming, and recreation. Capital Region Water's work over the last 10 years and this recommended plan aims to reduce those harmful overflows, prevent localized flooding events, and improve water quality, creating a safer and healthy environment for all. To analyze a range of alternatives and demonstrate how water quality requirements will be met, Capital Region Water developed models of our sewer system and receiving waters, again, the Susquehanna River and Paxton Creek. These models helped us to understand how various projects or solutions can better manage stormwater and reduce water quality impacts. We are already observing how investments made to date, including some of our projects completed over the last decade, are resulting in measurable improvements. Recent capital projects such as the upgrade to the Front Street Pump Station in the Shipoke neighborhood, green infrastructure projects throughout the city, and modifications to the overflow locations or structures at the streams have resulted in a decrease of overflow volume of nearly 10 million gallons annually. The recommended plan consists of a combination of proposed solutions, including a retention treatment basin, similar to a mini treatment facility, enhanced conveyance capacity, imagine bigger pipes where possible, green stormwater infrastructure or natural elements to capture and store rainwater where it falls and before it is contaminated by domestic sewage, and sewer separation, taking the one pipe that carries both stormwater and domestic sewage and separating it into two pipes like 40% of the city already has. The recommended plan is estimated to cost $450 million. Our analysis indicates that we need as much as 40 years to make these investments compared to the standard 20 years that most other cities get, and aims to minimize financial strain on our community, especially low-income households. The plan prioritizes both environmental stewardship and fiscal responsibility, making it the ideal choice to advance Capital Region Water's objectives effectively and efficiently. The timeline of how long the US EPA will allow us to implement the recommended plan will be negotiated over the next several months. Public engagement is a crucial component of the plan, and stakeholders will have the opportunity to influence revisions and updates to the plan. The plan was developed using a multifaceted strategy, and several alternatives were evaluated based on their ability to meet current water quality standards, feasibility, ease of operation and maintenance, and cost effectiveness. After a thorough evaluation of all alternatives, Capital Region Water's preferred solutions include a retention treatment basin that I mentioned before near our plant on Cameron Street, adding storage facilities where open space allows to capture and hold combined sewage until after the storm has passed, when capacity is freed up at the treatment plant on Cameron Street, adding 200 acres of impervious area being managed by green stormwater infrastructure, sewer separation projects, and enhancements to our major trunk sewers, and upgraded pump stations. The recommended plan is projected to reduce CSO discharges along the Susquehanna River from approximately 90 overflow events each year to 10, and reduce Paxton Creek overflow events from 95 to 16. And these meet water quality standards and make considerable improvements to local waterways. Furthermore, system-wide combined sewer overflow volume is reduced from an average of 794 million gallons to 131 million gallons annually under the recommended plan. The recommended plan is technically feasible, cost-effective, resilient, and sustainable, all of Capital Region Water's core values in one plan. We invite any questions or comments, and our report is available on our website. We are committed to keeping this information accessible. Over the next few months, Capital Region Water will hold several education sessions to discuss our recommended plan and allow for public dialogue and comment. I know that $450 million sounds like a lot of money, but we are committed to ensuring that our customer assistance program is expanded to help those that can least afford the rate increases that we will definitely need to implement. Thank you for your time this evening, and we look forward to continued collaboration as we build a better, safer, cleaner Harrisburg together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just one question before we move on. Can you please share how residents and members of the public can learn exactly when the education sessions will occur?
Sure. We have on our website those opportunities. We also we'll post those. We're also doing outreach on social media as those events come up to be able to provide those opportunities to the public.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions? Councilman Jones?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. When you say that, this will help especially low-income families, but then you also said that there will be an increase. Can you explain how that's going to help some of the low-income people?
So our customer assistance program currently is $300, looking at $300 a year for low-income residents. They don't need to provide income eligibility. They don't need to provide any kind of income eligibility except for if they're already on an assistance program like SNAP or LIHEAP. That automatically makes them eligible for our customer assistance program. All they need to provide is documentation that they're part of one of those other programs. That $300, we realize as rate increases happen, that $300 is not going to be enough. So we're committed to increasing that $300 amount for those low-income residents.
Okay, so when when you look at the increases, what would that entail? Would it be the ready to serve or the actual water bill itself?
It would be the total bill.
Okay, I think Madam President and I are scheduled to tour the facilities. I can't wait to do that. But one of the questions I will ask about, even with the meter changing, all of that, is this a part of what you guys are intending to do here?
So that's on the drinking water side of our business. This is on the wastewater side.
Okay. So now in the drinking water, just one question. Is there any fluoride in our water, and if so, how much?
I don't know the current, I don't have that expert behind me. Yeah, our consumer confidence report will be out shortly.
Okay.
You'll receive that in the mail. It has that information in there, but yes, we do add fluoride.
Okay.
And it's at the minimum, it's at the recommended minimum level that EPA requires,
Okay.
suggests.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Councilman Rodriguez, any questions?
No questions for me, thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Rawls, any questions?
Thank you, and good evening. Thank you for being here this evening. I just had two quick questions. One was, and I'm so mad I can't find the email, but there was an email sent out for an invitation to visit a water basin, I believe. The reservoir, thank you. Is that part of the education of the pollution?
I'm not sure that we will specifically address the recommended plan during the DHEART Day.
Yes, DHEART Day, thank you.
Yes, but that is to tour our drinking water reservoir.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, if you have any questions, there will be staff there that could answer questions on this as well.
Okay, but it's mostly on the drinking water side
That's
of
on the
that.
drinking water side.
Okay, thank you. And would you be able to say how much do you think the bills may increase within the next 5 to 10 years, if you're able to possibly answer that?
I don't have that information, but we'll certainly provide that during the public education sessions.
Okay, thank you. That's it from me.
Thank you. Vice President Green, any questions?
Thank you, President Bowers, and thank you for being here tonight and for your presentation. I don't have any questions for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Davis, any questions?
Thank you, President Bowers, and thank you for being here. I don't have any questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Daniels, any questions? Okay. Thank you very much for being here this evening.
Thank you.
We will now move forward with our meeting agenda. We will open the floor for courtesy of the floor. Just a few housekeeping notes before we begin. Please state your name and your address for the meeting record. If you don't feel comfortable sharing your address, please share the vicinity in which you live within the city. You will have 4 minutes to share your comments. Mr. Parker will serve as our timekeeper, and I will begin to my right. Is there anyone that would like to offer public comment? Okay, please come to the microphone. This one right here.
Well, good evening, city council members and city council family and friends, I should say. My name is Shannon Green, and I reside in the Governor's Square, which is located here in Harrisburg. I'm very concerned about our neighborhood, from it being trashy looking, also the crime, as well as the children that I see in my neighborhood riding their bicycles in stop signs. Cars are flying through certain areas that need stop signs, and it is a real thing. I sit on the porch, and just a lot of hanging around in areas where the children are located and the abandoned areas. It's really a concern for me because it's easy access for the children to be abducted, or a lot of fighting in the area. And we do know I lost a good friend yesterday and her mother. I'm aware of the people and their violence, and I'm just coming to the council to see if we can come up with an action plan for the community to make it look better. Maybe if it looks better, people act better. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Sure. Councilman Jones?
Ms. Green, no, you good. You good. I mean, if you could, come on.
Welcome. I don't know how this goes, sorry.
That's all right. So, as you've seen this week, we were up there. We will be back up Sunday and Monday. Okay. And one of the things that I plan to do, just coming together with some of the other nonprofit organizations, and from the city side of it, that's federally regulated. So there are some restrictions as far as what we're able to do at this moment.
Right.
However, just being a part of this community, I'm taking an initiative to come out there and try to clean up some of that area. But so I just was thinking yesterday that I will.
Absolutely, I seen you too, and I was so grateful. I got tears in my eyes, and like there is some kind of hope.
Yeah.
Because if we don't do something soon, it's going to be a rough summer in our area where I live, and I have children. So,
Absolutely.
not only am I concerned about my own children, but the children around us. It takes a village, So I'm one that is willing to.
Yeah.
Peter.
Yeah,
to
so
try to change.
just stay in contact with me. One of the things I want to do is again get some of those other local organizations. And as I was working yesterday, I was like, we're cutting this down and cleaning this now, but this is going to grow back.
Right.
So the idea is to try to bring some of the youth in that area, try to teach them how to earn an honest living.
Yes.
And keep that area as clean as possible as much as we can. So stay in touch with me, and I'm willing to work with you.
Sure, thank you.
All
I
right.
appreciate it, Council.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to my right that would like to offer public comment? Okay, seeing and hearing no one. Anyone in the middle section? Okay.
Good evening, President Bowers, Vice President Green, members of council. My name is Eric Haggerty. I live at 605 Shower Street here in Harrisburg. I am the new chair of the Broad Street Market Alliance and wanted to share a couple updates. First, I'm thrilled to report that next week the tent will open, and we're just so excited for folks to have the chance to get products from vendors that it's been almost a year that they haven't been able to get their produce and dog treats and so much more. So we're really excited about that next week. I'm also thrilled to share that I believe by the end of next month, the market will have finished paying off nearly $50,000 in past due bills that it had accrued since the fire. And we are very close to being on a financial trajectory that is much healthier than it had been. And we're of course fortunate to have President Bowers on our board as well, so thank you for all of your support. I understand later this evening there's an opportunity for council to approve the next step in this lasting recovery for the market and select a construction manager. And so I just wanted to encourage support for moving forward in that process. My understanding is that once a construction manager is selected, the brick building will be complete and open for business within 2 years. So I'm thrilled that we have the chance now to take this next step and really appreciate everyone's consideration. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the middle section that would like to offer public comment? Okay, seeing and hearing no one. Anyone to my left? Okay, seeing and hearing no one, we will move forward with our meeting agenda. We do not have any reports of committees this evening. We do not have any ordinances for first reading, nor do we have any ordinances for amendment, and we do not have any ordinances for final passage. We will move to resolutions. The first resolution for consideration this evening is Resolution 25 of 2024. Mr. Parker, could you please read it into the record?
Yes. Resolution 25 of 2024. A resolution approving the preliminary/final land development plan for 1610 North 4th Street, submitted by Midtown Redevelopment, LLC, to consolidate 19 vacant parcels and construct a 4-story, 36-unit senior apartment building with first-floor commercial space, along with associated improvements.
Thank you. Council members, are there any questions, comments, or concerns related to Resolution 25 of 2024?
Is anybody here representing that? No.
Not for
Not
that
even
one,
one, okay.
no.
Well, I'll wait for my question.
Okay. Any further questions, comments, clarification? Okay, seeing and hearing none, Mr. Parker, could you please call the vote?
Yes. Ms. Daniels.
Yes.
Ms. Davis.
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yay.
Ms. Rawls.
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Bowers.
Yes.
Resolution 25 of 2024 passes unanimously with a vote of 7 yeas to 0 nays.
Thank you. Next, we have Resolution 26 of 2024. Mr. Parker, could you please read it into the record?
Yes. Resolution 26 of 2024. A resolution authorizing the City of Harrisburg to negotiate and enter into a professional services agreement with Alexander Building Construction Company to serve as construction manager for the restoration, rehabilitation, and reconstruction of the Broad Street Market's red brick building.
Thank you. Council members, I will entertain a motion to suspend the rules for discussion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. I will defer to our Parks, Recreation, and Enrichment Committee Chair, Councilwoman Rawls, to lead discussion.
Thank you, President Bowers. I see there is someone from administration here to answer a few more questions I think council had on Resolution 26 of 2024. Can you both introduce yourselves and say your positions here at the city?
Good evening, council. My name is David Baker. I'm the facilities director for the city of Harrisburg.
Good evening. My name is Debbie Rehart. I'm project manager.
Thank you both for being here this evening and coming again. I know this is our second time on this, so we really appreciate you coming to clarify any questions we may have, because we all know how important the brick building, the Broad Street Market is, and how important it is that we want it to be completed. And so do you all want to start off by saying anything? Or?
I mean, we're here to clarify any questions you may have about the process or about the consultants that we're proposing to move forward with. So it's, we're here for you guys.
Okay, thank you. Well, since I have the mic, I'll start off. I just have really one quick question, and I want to pass it to my council members. I don't want to hog the time. When I was looking through the scoring rubric, the one question I had for you, Ms. Reinhardt, is that I had noticed that for each company, you said they didn't have a budget, and you scored them as such. However, when you got to the gym group, you said they didn't have a budget, but you gave them 10 points. So I was just wondering, did they have a budget or did they not? I just needed some clarification on that. But I'll give you a moment to look. Don't rush. Look and see and let me know.
Oh, no, so sorry. They got a 0 as well. They did not provide a budget. The 10 was for the number of allotted points for that particular criterion.
Okay, but it says allotted points 10, and then it says score 10. Where I'm looking, it says, and it does say no budget provided, but then it says allotted points 10, score points 10. So wouldn't that mean you gave them a score of a 10?
Yes, but what I'm looking at, I have a 0 there.
Okay,
so
do you want to pass this to her so she can see mine? I think it is. It was with her sheet that they printed off for me. I know, I agree. It could have been mixed up, but I did see, that's how it was given to me and printed to me in the administration office.
Can you please speak into the microphone? You noted that.
She's right. It
Okay,
does say,
thank you.
10 and 10. But there was no budget provided.
Okay, so my second question would be,
Real quick, could we possibly get a copy of yours? We can scan over real
yeah.
quick to make sure
You
there's
want to
no
get a
other
copy of this
discrepancies.
whole thing I have here? Yes, please. Okay, I'll pass this. Will I get it back? I want that back. Okay. Thank you.
Save his legs.
Okay, there goes this one. My final question was, I saw in the RFP, they asked for a fee schedule, but then we were grading on a budget. So that kind of confused me, because when I was looking through the the rubrics I was looking for, or I was looking through the company's proposals they sent in, I was looking for a budget, because I was like, well, it's on the rubric, where are their budgets? And I also didn't see any budgets except from two companies. It looked like they had a budget. And then other companies had a fee schedule. So then were we looking for a fee schedule or a budget, or are they the same? Because then I got confused myself.
Right, so no, they are not the same.
Okay,
And the initial statement of work in the initial RFP included a budget. And so a budget would be what they think the project is going to cost.
Right.
And a fee is how much they're going to charge to do the work.
like per month or something per se. It's much smaller.
Right, right.
Okay, but the budget's much larger, more scope and sequence to it. Okay, so when, so just to clarify, when we were looking through the bids put in, were we looking for a budget or a fee schedule?
So we were
Or
looking
both.
for both.
Okay, so companies had to have both.
Right.
Okay, thank you. That clarifies it, because I did see some companies only had a fee schedule.
Right.
And some companies actually had a budget, but they got 0 points for their budget. You said they didn't have a budget, but from what it looked like, they looked like they had a budget.
Can you give me a specific?
So, it could have been Alexandra Perry, because I know there was two Alexandras. They looked like they had a budget. Let me find it here. That's not them. I apologize here. Oh, there, this is them. And sorry, there's a lot of paper, so okay, here we go. Well, theirs is called a fee schedule, but it looks much more chunkier than, or has more details than the other companies did. So,
Sorry, I'm still trying to get to my copy.
no, that's okay. Would you like me to send this one down? And I'm guessing they put fee schedule at the top because they asked for a fee schedule, but it looks like a budget to me.
So you're specifically talking about Alexander Perry.
Yes.
All right. Alexander Perry. No. I don't think I have a copy of that. I'm not sure why. I
Okay.
printed them all out.
I do have mine. No, that's all right. I appreciate you giving me clarification.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have a copy.
It's all right, but, okay, that was a concern of mine. I just didn't understand what the difference was between, well, in my mind, I thought maybe it was a fee schedule was much smaller and a budget was much larger in capacity, had more details, where a fee schedule was just broken into months. But like you said, that is what it is, and that you all were looking for both.
Yes.
Okay, so, that ends my questions. I'll move on and see if other council members do have any questions, but thank you so much for answering those. Mr. Jones, do you have any, Councilman Jones?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you,
You're welcome.
Councilwoman Ross. I don't know if you guys can answer my questions. I'll let you continue doing what you're doing. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, we're just trying to clarify for Councilman Rawls.
Is that this one?
Those are the same. Might be in the center somewhere. Where is the fee structure that she was asking about with the 10 points?
The fees.
I got it. But where is that here on hers? There's just the 10 points for the fee structure. Councilman Ross, did you,
Yeah.
by happen to, is the fee structure paid that you were talking about, is that in this pile of paper, or is that?
Oh, no, you mean the one for Alexandra and Perry? No, I have it here inside the,
The
for,
gem
for
group?
Jim. Oh, their fee, no, it's not, I have it here if you want me to find it.
Yeah, I want to clarify that the copy that we gave you is the identical copy of what we currently have in our possession.
Their fee schedule or their,
The first question you had about.
the rubric?
The rubric grading.
I gave you my rubric.
Okay.
Yes, that is, Ms. Reinhardt's rubric. Yes.
Is this it?
I think yeah, they have it. No, that's my copy.
This is yours, right? This is yours. So we're missing her page that says the fee schedule. Mr. Parker, do you have the paper that has the fee schedule on it for the GEM group?
I do not.
Okay.
You mean the rubric where you graded it? I
Yes.
gave it to you all. I gave all the paper. I gave her whole,
Okay, and it might
yeah.
be in this stack somewhere. I just didn't want to go through everything because I'm seeing other individuals grading
Yes, there's
sheets.
other names, but hers was together with it.
Scott.
Madam President, can I put a motion in to have a recess for 5 minutes for them to get it together?
Okay, we'll give you 5 minutes, I guess, to review any paperwork, and so you're prepared to continue to answer any questions council members may have. The time is 6:37 p.m. We will recess for 5 minutes and then resume. Thank you.
Thank you.
So.
We have one more minute left, but I understand you're ready to resume questioning. Okay, Chair Rawls.
All right, thank you. Councilman Jones, do you have a question or?
Yes, did you get yours answered though?
Yes, my paper does say 10, but I don't know where the mix-up came.
Okay.
I think I have additional one, but not right now.
Okay.
I have to.
My question would be for Alexander Company. So if you guys. If you don't mind introducing yourself.
Steve Wilt with Alexander Building Construction Company, project executive.
Terrell Davis, Alexander Building, project manager.
All right, thank you guys for showing back up. At first, I didn't think you guys were here. Anyway, I just want to ask a couple questions. Like, for one, I know that this project means a lot to this community. All right, as expressed before, my job is to make sure that this is a fair process. Make sure there's some type of, there is some inclusivity and local participation, all of those things. This is what I am here to do, and I believe this body is here to do. So one of the questions that I have for you, not to try to hold this project up, but this is of importance for me. You have F&B right now, correct?
Yes.
All right. So within that resolution, you guys said that you will have 30%, at least 30% participation, correct?
Yes.
So where are you at now with that process? How any contracts have been given, or I want to know that.
We're actually still under the design process here, so there are no contracts that have been awarded or even negotiated at this particular time here. And that is an actual pin bid live project, so it's going to become a public bid project. But right now, we're still in the initial design phase.
Okay, because for me, I would, if you guys had that, what's the timeline for that?
Just the design process?
Yeah, well, for you to get to the contractual process, like getting through all of that, when would you say that you would have a list of vendors and people that you have the contracts for?
So right now, we're still working on the actual design portion of it here. We're projecting somewhere at the end of July.
Okay, because that's what, for me, that's what I would like to see. And then see if, once you do have that list, see what companies those were and how much you have, contracted out to them. That's of importance for me to see. And again, not to hold this project up, but this is the language that you guys had in the resolution. So it's something that I don't want to just see words on the paper. I really want to see the action of that. So for me, that's what, I can't say that I'm going to hold it up, but that's what I would like to see. No further questions for me.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Jones, and welcome again, Alexander and Co. Thank you for being here to answer clarifying questions. Councilman Rodriguez, do you have any questions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. No actual questions at this time. It's just more in the thought of just ensuring the process is equitable and fair for everyone, just that everyone gets a fair shot. And when things arise, when there's already slight questions, not saying there was anything funny being done, but then when numbers don't match and it's like, how'd that get on there? It's, you got to consider our role and what we were elected to do as officials. So it just, I definitely respect what you guys do and love the experience that you guys bring to it. It's just more of the processes and how we go about coming to the conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councilman Rodriguez. President Bowers, do you have any questions?
Thank you. Yes, I have one question related to the timeline of events. So I'm not sure if Mr. Baker or Ms. Reinhardt, if you could please share the timeline between the RFP, when it went out, to when the committee was assembled for review, and then when your final selections were made.
would
Do you
say,
need the actual dates?
I would like the dates. I want to ensure that I have a clear understanding of the timeline.
So if you want actual dates, we can absolutely supply those to all of council. We can send them to Mr. Park, give you the exact days of each process that happened, when it was completed, and who it was completed by.
Is that satisfactory for you, President Bowers?
Not really, but okay. In the RFP that we received, under Exhibit A, the scope of services, there's a table with activity and estimated dates, so maybe some of these will jog your memory. The proposal due date was March 19th, 2023. The RFP solicitation release occurred on March 5th of 2024. Contractor selection, the estimated dates are March and April of 2024. Intent to award or notice, the estimated date was April of 2024. And then the contract commences in May of 2024.
Madam President, just looking at an email chain, for procurement sent out, the results had come in on March the 27th in the afternoon to Mr. Baker, Mr. Hartman, Mr. Maisel, Mrs. Robinson, Ms. Kelly. And then the recommendations came back on an email on April the 10th, after the scoring was done.
Okay. Do you all remember when the committee was assembled for review?
It was during the process when the RFP was out for bid. I
Okay.
don't remember the exact date, but it was during that period, after the RFP was released.
Okay. And do you remember how long you had to review the RFPs that were received? Or the proposals that were received?
We had, it was about a week.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any other questions.
You're welcome.
All right, sorry. Thank you, President Bowers. Vice President Green, do you have any questions?
Thank you, Councilwoman Rawls. Thank you all for being here this evening. I have a couple of questions. I'll just start with the one that I kind of discussed with you guys a little bit last week after the meeting, is can you just go over what happens next? Like, what's the purpose of a construction manager? What do they do? Once the construction manager is chosen, what's the next step? Like, what are they going to help the city with? What's their role? Because I think somehow it's not explained the best. So if you guys could just go over what is the role of the construction manager and what will be the next steps once this is awarded to whoever it's awarded to.
I can go ahead and jump in if you'd like. A construction manager in a CM agency type role is an extension of your services. So we're acting in your behalf, making decisions and recommendations to you that is in the best interest of the city. Our services would include managing the process, and in the RFP, it stated that we would help with the selection process and write the RFP for, or assist in writing the RFP for the professional services, the architect, engineers, and that type of stuff, and be part of that process to help that move along as well. We'll also have on-site supervision, engineering, and project management to manage the contractors once they're brought on board. This is still a public bid, so when we get into the public bid process, we'll send the notices out, which there's 3 notices that go out, and then we'll go right into the bidding process. We'll tabulate the bids and make recommendations for the contractors to be reviewed by the city to select at that point in time.
All right. That's what I thought it was, but I kind of kept getting different answers from different people, so I just want to make for sure I understand the process itself better. So essentially, you guys would help to build the bid packages themselves. The city would then review over what was built, correct? It's not just them making the decisions, right? We're not just handing all the power over. This is more to the administration.
We won't make those decisions. Our job is to make recommendations and have approval by the city.
I understand. No offense, I was asking the administration.
So yes, that is the point of what they'll be doing for us, that they basically will oversee, or they will give us recommendations as far as each step goes. And they do have the professionals in place as far as engineering side and all that work in the industry to give us the best guidance possible. Just as like a quick example, as council stated, we are working with them currently on the F&B Field project. And we are still in the design phase. We're coming in over budget already. And part of what Alexander is doing is helping us reduce that budgetary amount before we get started. So right now, yeah, in the design phase, it's been designed over budget already. So, you know, you go to an architect and they are going to make it beautiful, and they're going to make it look as nice as possible. Their names on it.
So is there a change order attached to that?
No, because we're not there yet. We're still drawing, you know, getting the pictures out and working the traffic flows and egress plans and, you know, workability of everything and the materials, all of that. And so Alexander is helping us use commercial materials that are still appropriate to their function, but that are at a lesser cost, that are still going to work for us in the long run, because their goal is to get us what we need. When we say we need this, but we need it at a lesser cost, that's their goal. And they're working with the architect who is, you know, having to reduce the scale or reduce the cost, and they know exactly what to do and what not to do. You know, where can you cut and where can you not cut to get us where we need to be as far as the budget goes for that project. Just as an example, and hopefully that's helpful.
All right. So back into this process moving forward, right? So now they're helping to build the bid packages. Bids go out. How does the bid process work? Is it just lowest bidder? Is it lowest responsible bidder? Is it still a scoring rubric?
Yes.
All right.
Lowest responsible bidder.
All right. So we're back to lowest responsible bidder. We're back to scoring rubrics. We're back to a panel. That gets us back to this process that I think we kind of have some questions about here. And one way that I can suggest is that no matter who gets this contract, that we start assembling that panel now, that we make sure we have inclusion in that panel. Obviously, I would recommend that we have Mr. Singleton as part of that panel, because we have that office for a reason, to make sure we have diversity and inclusion looked at as we're creating these bid packages, as well as we're doing the scoring. So I think that's an important process that I think we need to start looking at now, no matter who gets this contract. But now back to scoring rubrics come in, right? Who's scoring them? We've got the panel. Is Alexander scoring? Are they part of the scoring process?
No, so the business administrator would decide who would be on that scoring group, but I would assume Alexander would give their 2 cents on what they thought about each individual, but I don't believe, and I could be wrong because it's up to the BA, on who exactly would be sitting on the panel. Most likely it would be individuals who understood the project and who knew the guidelines or knew what parameters we need to stay within as far as the individual bidders that are coming in.
Okay, so at the end of the day, it's the city that will be choosing who gets the contracts for architect, engineer, whatever other contracts come and play when it comes to constructing this.
That's correct.
It's not Alexander and Company. I don't want to call it Alexander and Company. There's not Alexander Building Construction that's making the choice for the city. The city is making the choice.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, Councilman Green, I'd just like to add one thing. You know, when you're looking at the awarding of contracts, it's all recommendations from us, as I said before, but the most important thing that we're gonna do is make sure that they have the scope of work. Because that equates to, if they don't have the scope of work, that equates to having a change order, and we don't want change orders. So we wanna make sure that the scope of work is complete and that they're gonna do exactly what we want to be done in that building, so we're not asking for more money to do that. So that's one of our main focuses, to make sure that the scope of work is 100%.
All right, thank you. And I would say a big part of that is also part of building the bid package itself, to make sure everything's explained properly, so that when they submit it, it's really easy to read. Sorry, Mr. Grover.
No, I just wanted to point out, there's really two different things that are gonna happen here. The professional service contracts are different than the construction contracts. They're scored different, they're different requirements. And just so you know, what happens like in F&B Field is influenced by the source of funding, which is an RCAP, and waives certain requirements. We don't have those waivers for Broad Street Market. So we have to do what's called the Separations Act requires different bids for different elements of it. So the compliance on both of them are just different. And so the lowest responsible bid is a term of art in bidding for construction contracts, where, you know, so just point it, there is a difference of the two. And that's something everyone has to monitor along the way.
Okay. And Alexander Building and Construction would be the ones who oversee all of that, the construction and the professional services, or is that somebody else? I'm just trying to figure out like who all the players might be in the end.
So we would still have a general contractor that would oversee, but Alexander you can kind of look at as a second set of eyes looking from a different point of view. So the general contractor is going to be there to get the job done, and he's going to make sure that individuals are doing what they're supposed to, but bottom line, they want to get it done. You know, they got to get this job finished so they get on to the next one. And Alexander really will be sitting there 100% from the city side. It's not their number one priority to make sure we get done quick. It's their number one priority to make sure that what we're paying for, we're actually receiving.
I'm just, again, please help me understand this. You guys are there to make the selection process, to kind of oversee how everything is moving forward, right?
Yes.
So why does that cost $914,000?
You know, we looked at the services that we're providing and the time frame. That's what it equated to.
There it is. So the services, what are that? What are those services?
It's the preparing the bid packages. It's providing supervision and scheduling involvement. It's reviewing our request for proposals and all those things. When people, you know, shop drawing review, there's a whole series of construction type tasks that have to be done that we'll weigh in on. We don't want to have a general contractor come out and start doing something that doesn't meet the quality of the job and using wrong materials and that type of stuff. So we're involved in every step of the process with our superintendent on site, with our folks there, making sure that it's in the best interest of the city. There's a lot of activities that happen, and I can give you a complete list if you'd like it. I mean, I can put that together.
No, I'm just, listen, I want to be clear too. I'm not questioning your ability to do work.
Understand.
At all. Like I said, I think you guys are qualified. I did look at the work, but again, it's this process of how we got here is a concern for me. But when we look at the bidding part of that, and the lowest responsible bidder and all of that, so to do what they're doing, you saying that you can't find any cheaper price to get that done, what they're doing. This is for you guys.
It's not necessarily the lowest bid.
That's what I said. The lowest responsible bidder. I'm saying for the services that they're providing, no one else can be qualified to do that at a cheaper price. I'm asking.
I'm sure are other people who can do that.
Okay. That's all.
I think the thing to remember is with the individuals that supplied the information that they did, from that group, this was the most, I guess it'd be the best qualified for the dollar amount.
So the problem is, and again, this is not to detriment of your expertise, right? This is, again, no one will be ever be able to compete with them because of the years of experience that they have. No one will be able to be on the same playing field. So if we're looking for inclusion and other people are applying for this, and not to say that you shouldn't be allowed, because, you know, it's like no one will be able to ever to beat their expertise in a lot of these areas. So we'll probably be seeing them every time. And I know we haven't had large projects like this, but I just think that it just seems like it's an uneven playing field, and that's just my concern. Again,
I think our fear, at least my fear, would be if we don't have the best qualified group supporting us, you know, we could have upwards of $20 million misappropriated or misused, or we have to go back and change a whole bunch of things, or we're liable for any sort of issues that might happen. And I think that's really what we're shooting for, is not to have any of that happen. So we're trying to get the absolute best that we can for what we can afford to do, or for the value of what we're getting. And that's where we ended up as far as a rubric goes, and coming up with this. Because I think when people are doing the grading, they're not like, this is the winner before they do it. We have to sit in the room and they're tabulating the numbers, and no one can know what the winner is going to be. Because even if you give one company the best score you can possibly give them, you have other individuals in that room that have graded a little bit differently than you have, and maybe they didn't do that. So when all those numbers are tabulated, that's when that individual says, all right, this is the company that we've chosen that has the most value for the dollars that they're telling us it's going to cost.
I got you. So let me be clear. What so happens in the city of Harrisburg, there's cronyism that takes place in our city, which leaves out the little guys and the people that are looking to scale their businesses and get on the level of a Alexander company. That happens. So then when you give them this portion, and then they get to influence who's going on moving forward. You may not like this person, you may not like this person, and they get to decide that. That's an issue, not just for them. I'm just saying how we do business in the city of Harrisburg. We are known to be called a rollover city. And I am looking to change that, the way people look at the city of Harrisburg. Someone needs to stand up and speak up about a few things that are happening. And that's where I'm going with that. That's it.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. Councilwoman Davis, do you have anything?
Thank
Any
you,
questions?
Councilwoman Rawls. Thank you for being here again. I think that I am prepared to make a decision, but also the question of how, bias could possibly be, introduced into the whole process is just a concern, and a valid concern on behalf of the residents of the city of Harrisburg. But I don't have any questions right now.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Davis. Councilwoman Daniels, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have any other questions? Okay. So I know this is coming up for a vote, so I just, before it does, I did want to read something. Yes, that's fine. Yep, we'll go back in.
I'd like to entertain a motion to resume our legislative session.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. At 7:04 p.m., we are resuming our legislative session. Chair Rawls, you have the floor.
Thank you. Before we vote on Resolution 26 of 2024, I just wanted to say that tonight, council members, as committee chair of the Parks and Rec and Enrichment Committee, I urge you to vote against Resolution 26 of 2024. This is not a reflection of Alexandra's capabilities. Please understand that. Not at all. But rather due to the concerns regarding the selection process and how it was done. My concerns are as follows. The team lacked diversity and perspective. Companies were scored on criteria that were not requested or did not receive points for fulfilling requirements. The city's equity and compliance director was not involved in the process. But most importantly, consideration of companies' willingness to work with local vendors or DBE participants was not taken into account. The restoration of the brick building of the Broad Street Market is crucial to council, to the administration, and to our community. It must be carried out with the community, residents, and local vendors in mind. The City of Harrisburg and Impact Harrisburg commissioned a disparity report that revealed that local Harrisburg vendors have been excluded in the past projects. Let us not repeat history. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Parker, could you please read Resolution 26 of 2024 back into the record again?
Yes, Resolution 26 of 2024. A resolution authorizing the City of Harrisburg to negotiate and enter into a professional services agreement with Alexander Building Construction Company to serve as construction manager for the restoration, rehabilitation, and reconstruction of the Broad Street Market's red brick building.
Thank you. Council members, are there any further comments, questions, or clarification needed prior to voting on Resolution 26 of 2024?
Does anyone need clarity on what the CM firm actually does as far as they don't hire construction workers, they don't, like it's more engineers and design and consulting?
Point of order, Madam President, I believe we would need to suspend the rules to go back into discussion.
We can ask questions during this time. So if there are any other questions.
Yeah, what were you saying, Mr. Baker?
I just wanted to make it clear, just so council understood, that this portion is, they don't hire, like as far as local participation, it's much harder for a construction management firm to hire local participation just because of what they actually do. It's more, we have industry experts that have been doing this for years that are overseeing the actual labor force. Like they don't oversee as far as, they don't hire them. They don't have anything to do with them other than they give us recommendations on who would be, proper general contractor, who then will hire additional subs, or will have other generals in different trades, since the Separations Act would apply for this. So they would be the ones that would be hiring lots of our local participation to do the work in here. This particular, and any any contractor of this caliber wouldn't be outsourcing their work. They would do, we would hope they do the majority, if not all the work in-house with their existing staff.
Yes, and I know you guys are Harrisburg locally based as well. That's a plus as well. But again, this isn't about their ability of how to work. We're looking at the process, and that's it.
Just like the grading process, that's?
Yes.
Okay.
And how the team was selected, it wasn't diverse. Our equity and compliance director, we have a department here, he was not a part of the process. And I think I asked probably every meeting and there were different answers. So it's not about the company that you chose. It was the process in which you got to that decision.
Are there any further comments, questions? I do have a comment. I will be voting no on this resolution. I echo the sentiments of Chair Rawls. I find discrepancy within the process. It was not equitable at all. All of the committee assembled to review the proposals received is viewing them from the same lens and perspective. And it's an issue, right? It seems there was question whether the expertise of the individuals that participated within the committee, their expertise and in various areas. However, I don't believe one of them shared the same expertise. I think it was just a directive of the mayor. There seems to be some gaps in the timeline. Between March 27th of 2024 and April 10th of 2024, Easter weekend occurred. And it's our understanding that some of the review in an expedited manner occurred during the Easter weekend holiday. So there are just a number of things that literally and quite figuratively are not adding up, such that the information you shared had different scoring numbers than what you were presenting this evening. So I'm not really sure.
I mean, our information has all the same numbers. I think Councilwoman Rawls might have gotten outdated copy from someone.
But we received it from you, that's my point.
Yeah, I got it from the meeting I was at when I came.
Right. So do we have any other members of council that did they get?
We all received the same information.
Okay.
So again, miscommunication. So there are just a number of issues here, and it's, as a result, I just cannot support this resolution. I'm hopeful that in the future, when review committees are assembled, that there will be much more thought and concern considered for the diversity within our city. whether that's our residents, whether that's the workforce of the city government. There is a director of equity and compliance. Why isn't he participating? And Councilwoman Rawls, Chair Rawls is correct. She's asked repeatedly since March or before, where is Mr. Singleton in these conversations? And even if he can only participate from an advisory perspective, perhaps he cannot participate in his role under his compliance umbrella. But perhaps he could participate in an advisory capacity in reviewing the proposals that are received and provide recommendation to the committee members. His voice is needed, and it was just absent from this conversation. So I don't have any further commentary. Mr. Parker, could you please call the vote?
Ms. Daniels,
Yes.
Ms. Davis,
No. And it's because of the scoring discrepancies only, just concerned about that. So I'm going to say no. Thank you.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Nay.
Ms. Rawls,
No.
Mr. Rodriguez,
No.
Ms. Bowers.
No.
Resolution 26 of 2024 fails with a vote of 5 nays to 2 yeas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Resolution 28 of 2024. Mr. Parker, could you please read it into the record?
Resolution 28 of 2024. A resolution appointing Gloria Martin Roberts to serve on the Board of Directors of the Harrisburg Housing Authority.
Thank you. Resolution 28 of 2024 will move to the Administration Committee. Next, we have Resolution 29 of 2024. Mr. Parker, could you please read it into the record?
Resolution 29 of 2024. A resolution appointing Zachary D. Jackson, Sr. to serve on the Board of Directors of the Harrisburg Housing Authority.
Thank you. Resolution 29 of 2024 will move to the Administration Committee. Resolution 30 of 2024. Mr. Parker, could you please read it into the record?
Resolution 30 of 2024. A resolution approving the fourth proposed 2024 budget reallocation.
Thank you. Resolution 30 of 2024 will move to the Budget and Finance Committee. Next, Resolution 31 of 2024. Mr. Parker, could you please read it into the record?
Resolution 31 of 2024. A resolution authorizing the City of Harrisburg to enter into a professional services agreement with Mayor Dussel, PC, for the purpose of providing audit preparation services to the City of Harrisburg.
Thank you. Resolution 31 of 2024 will move to the Budget and Finance Committee. Next, Resolution 32 of 2024. Mr. Parker, could you please read it into the record?
Resolution 32 of 2024. A resolution authorizing the City of Harrisburg to negotiate and enter into a landowner grantee agreement with the Capital Area Greenbelt Association in furtherance of construction and restoration of the Paxtang Parkway Creek and Trail.
Thank you. Resolution 32 of 2024 will move to the Parks, Recreation, and Enrichment Committee. Next, Resolution 33 of 2024. Mr. Parker, could you please read it into the record?
Resolution 33 of 2024, a resolution authorizing the City of Harrisburg to participate in the 2024 cohort of the Pennsylvania Blueprint Communities Program.
Thank you. Resolution 33 of 2024 will move to the Administration Committee. Next, we have Resolution 34 of 2024. Mr. Parker, could you please read it into the record?
Resolution 34 of 2024, A resolution approving the preliminary/final land development plan for 174 North 15th Street, submitted by St. John's CME Church to consolidate two parcels and construct a new 2,400 square foot church, 17 space necessary parking lot, and associated site and access improvements.
Thank you. Resolution 34 of 2024 will move to the Community and Economic Development Committee. Next, we have Resolution 35 of 2024. Mr. Parker, could you please read it into the record?
Resolution 35 of 2024. A resolution approving the preliminary/final land development plan for 1719 Market Street, submitted by Capital City Church of the Assemblies of God, Incorporated, to consolidate two existing parcels and to establish an accessory parking lot for the church located at 1710 Chestnut Street, along with associated improvements.
Thank you. Resolution 35 of 2024 will move to the Community and Economic Development Committee. Our final resolution for consideration this evening is Resolution 36 of 2024. Mr. Parker, could you please read it into the record?
Resolution 36 of 2024. A resolution approving the preliminary/final land development plan for 2701 Industrial Road, submitted by Navneet Law Zaver to construct a 143-stall commercial parking lot to serve as overflow parking for the Farm Show complex and adjacent properties, along with associated improvements.
Thank you. Resolution 36 of 2024 will move to the Community and Economic Development Committee. Is there any old business for discussion, council members?
Yes, Mr. Grover, can you give us an update on the status of the CDBG disbursement?
There has not been disbursement yet. There is a issue with the process that occurred. When a final opinion is available to you, at that point, there will be a partial disbursement. I can tell you that much, but there is a process issue which we will have to discuss in an executive session.
And how soon will that opinion be delivered?
It's fairly close. It's just, it's a complicated one because of the issues in the process.
Okay, because right now we're about a year behind.
I'm painfully aware.
Yeah, and yeah. Okay.
Frankly, we had to find a way to let any of it go through. That became the issue with the process.
I just have one note of old business before moving to new business. Before we conclude our meeting this evening, I would like to address one matter that residents have called, texted, and sent me direct messages about. The American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA funding. I wanted to take an opportunity to remind residents and members of the public that Harrisburg City Council has taken action to appropriate the American Rescue Plan Act funding. The first action occurred on July 5th, 2023, when Harrisburg City Council voted on an ordinance, that was Bill 5 of 2023, which appropriated American Rescue Plan Act funding from the United States Department of Treasury for revenue replacement and authorizing and directing certain expenditures of such funds. The second action occurred on April 9th, 2024, when Harrisburg City Council voted on a resolution, Resolution 24 of 2024, which approved the third proposed 2024 budget reallocation in order to appropriate certain monies locally designated as revenue replacement funding through an award under the American Rescue Plan Act to provide for specified projects. Please note, Harrisburg City Council has done our legislative duty in approving the appropriation of funds. We are not responsible for the implementation of the specified projects. The implementation of the specified projects and other programming is the responsibility of the mayor and her administration. I would recommend calling the mayor's office with any further inquiries. Thank you. Is there any new business? Councilman Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam President. Just want to send out a reminder to anyone that is calling or inquiring about our Hotspot Saturdays cleanups. The next one will be this Saturday. We take care of the Allison Hill area. We'll meet at the Love the Hill Mansion at 10 a.m. and we'll go out into the community from 10 to 12. So anyone interested, feel free to contact the clerk's office or email me directly at rrodriguez@harrisburgpa.gov. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Any other new business, council members? Just one note in terms of scheduling. I wanted to note that on Tuesday, May 7th, 2024, Harrisburg City Council hosted an executive session to discuss personnel and legal matters. Harrisburg City Council will not meet next Tuesday, May 21st, 2024. The council will host a work session on Tuesday, May 28th, 2024, followed by a legislative session. The time is 7:22 p.m. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. We stand adjourned.